First destination, Fort William. Second destination, Inverness. Third destination, John O'Groats. 317 miles, so that's quite a long way.
Previously on the Great Glen Way.
Where else do you have shipwrecks and lighthouses? This is Freya.
Use our legs, our feet.
A new way to use our legs and die. It's a bizarre monument. Freya's gone. She's wanting to go off and do her own thing.
See you around.
Now on my own, kid. On the trail finally. I'm doing some backpack tweaking because I think it was sitting a little bit lower and this strap is twisting a bit, and I think I've got it. It's kind of like trying to get that balance, but something is a bit off with this, I think, at the moment. Aha, high route is closed. So yes, another diversion, although this one I'm not too bad about. I hope this isn't just constant road noise, because this A82 is like a bloody motorway. Yeah, I wasn't planning to do this one, because this one, you can see there's some steep sections. It may be marked, it may be wonderful, but it wasn't following any form of paths, so very wary of that. I'll take the low route and you'll take the low route, and both get to Invermoriston about the same time probably. But it might be dreich, it might be doer. Perfect for me. Absolutely perfect. What I've actually struggled over the last couple of days has been the blazing sunshine. Everyone else has been f***ing loving it. I have just been like, oh, I can't stand this. This is my walking weather. Cool, not chucking it down, not hailing, not blowing a gale, not sunny, not boiling me. Go a nice, consistent pace. So hopefully we'll get some miles in today. First time I've seen a no camping sign in a long time. That's unusual. Lots of noisy owls last night. Twin Peaks. Kind of like owl wars. These owls chasing each other last night or early this morning. Weird, because I've never heard owl kind of battling each other and making a hell of a noise. So yeah, we were sleeping in the middle of an owl turf walk. It is very beautiful. As I say, after a while it gets a mixture of kind of magical and sane, these forestry roads. Scenery! Scenery! There's a group of day hikers that are doing it in sections, and sort of not long sections, and taking their sweet time about it. I keep bumping into them. I keep bumping into them, and when we were and there was with Freya, but also I just had a weird one with like a bunch of two Americans, I think they're Americans, and I was doing a video not near them, sort of behind them, probably they can hear, and then everyone was like, hello, as in, we can hear you, and I was like, yeah, I don't give a about your ableist bullshit, to be honest. I do not care. I just like no filter. I'm on my own now. I'm not gonna worry about what other people think now. And this is Loch Ness. Any sign of Nessie? I think Freya understood. I explained neurodiversity, and I did have to mask a bit around her, and kind of a little bit. I'm not really interested in masking for them when I'm out here on my own. They think somebody talking to themselves in the wilderness is somehow weird, then they can basically get on the plane and off back to America. Come out here to be, on my own or with, the odd, it's nice to meet a like-minded person. I'm not here to have to deal with that kind of ableist crap where people are like, oh, he's weird, he's talking to himself, oh, what's he doing? Much rather be with the bear. Which, I understand. Although, as I say, if you think that you've got a sense of security just because there's a man and a woman, well, there's been some people who've used that. So, trust no one really. Don't trust anyone. But so back to my usual slightly grumpy self. It was nice, it was fun. Last couple of days to be more, we're in holiday mode. But yeah, now it's back to work. And back to reality, which is, on my own, people treat me very differently. I'm sure that's the nice falls down there. Into the Nessie Lake. I'm not so fond of the piping. There's signs saying there's mains underneath. This path is like the one on Loch Ness. It's not really a path at all. Really a pipeline. I'm walking on a mains water pipeline. Well, we've got to build access. They'll turn it into a path. That happens a lot. Showing off their forestry roads, hydropower, and pipelines. Yeah, it's these things, the pink ribbons and also the red ones. I'm not sure what they mean, because sometimes they're marking access to, paths, but that's hazard tape. I don't know. It's very strange. And there's a path to water marked, but I can't see one. It's all very strange what these little things mean. It was nice not being a grumpy old man for that. Yeah, Forest Road, take me home to the place I belong, down in London City, take me home, Forest Road. Your own castle. I don't know what that way is. There's nothing up that way, apart from a tree. Looks like they've closed the higher routes. Closed for safety work. Drumnadrochit. Nearly at Invermoriston. Oh wow. Why didn't we go over that bridge? This is obviously a lovely A282. I wonder what that is. I don't know. And this is Invermoriston. Oh. Those are some floors. That's the bridge I've just been on. And this is the old Invermoriston Bridge, built by our old friend Thomas Telford. And St. Columba as well. St. Columba gets a lot of places around here. The Highlands. Nessie Whisky ice cream. I haven't seen, I've been looking for candy, Nessie stuff. I've not seen anything, but this is the first Nessie thing. So, Loch Ness ice cream, Whisky Nessie. Nessie Whisky. Should have little Nessies in it, but. And weirdly, someone left me a tip on the table. But yeah, getting my feet up. Chilling with my Nessie ice cream. Getting my feet up. Picnic bench. Drying the socks. I've got some chocolate milk and I have some lunch as well. And then we'll head off towards Drumnadrochit, which apparently is about 13 miles. So obviously I'm not going to do all of that today, but it'd be nice to do a big chunk of it. I would like to get it below 20 miles to Inverness today. Even better, if I can do 15 today, but over 10 would be good. I feel like it's been a bit slacking over the last day or so. I get the impression the next section is quite wild, the Drumnadrochit section. There isn't much between the two. Also, Invermoriston has a drinking tap. Thumbs up from me. Just climbing up from Invermoriston. They've got water there, sadly the toilets are broken, but I managed to find a place to pee on the path. The woman in the shop said that the high route was easier because you have to go up for both, but the low route you have to go back down again. So I'll probably just try the high route. I was half thinking of it. So I did ask her, is there camping? And say, oh, well, people manage. And I was like, is there camping up there? Don't know. We shall find out. No sign of Freya. assume she zoomed through this hours ago. I was half expecting to see her lounging around Invermoriston. If we do bump into each other, she wants to do the solo thing, so won't camp anywhere near. It is a steep climb on a hot part of the day. Views, scenery. I've had worse inclines. I've had more slippery ascents, but in this heat on a tarmac stone road, with this pack size, and now there's some breeze. There wasn't when I was coming up. Just trying to kind of cool down a bit. I'm glad I got some water in the village because there was no streams coming up. Only I just saw one now. Now we're supposed to, somewhere around here, I've got a nasty feeling it might have been back there, but they're supposed to break off for the high line, the high road, somewhere around here. Yeah, it was back there. I really need that in this heat. And it wasn't signed. It's just the path going off. It doesn't say this is the low road, this is the high road. It actually directs you this way. It doesn't direct you that way. And Osmond was lagging, so it didn't go, hey, you're here. It said I was further down. But I'm doubtful, but I walked down the track and suddenly it jumped 5 trillion miles that way. And I was like, no, that's definitely not. I'm definitely past it. So yeah, there's no signage to tell you that's the high route. Allegedly it's this one up here. I am very, very, very wary. Very, very wary of this. I am so wary of this. That is not marked. It doesn't say anything about where it is. That's terrible. That is just like, that could be going anywhere. Who knows what condition that path is in. And I'd much rather be on a defined trail rather than that, which could just peter out and have no, she said it was fairly well marked. That's got no markings at all. It was lovely this morning. It was just the right kind of weather for my kind of walking. As here I'm sort of sweat actually boiling, and no shade because they've chopped down all the trees. Unless this is it. So it is going to the shade, which is a major bonus. High route. High route. Anti-Sly Ard. This section rises to 470 metres and is 30 miles to Drumnadrochit. There's some steep ascents. Third day we'll see all the way to Ben Nevis south and Killarney Mountains to the west. You're walking through the remnant Caledonian pine forest. That's choice A. Choice B, this section low route. Anti-Sly Luzal. I don't know something. This section rises and falls 3 times, finally climbing to 350 metres. Yeah, it still climbs up. Approximately 14 miles long, so it's longer. Yeah, I think I'll probably go for the shady one. Let's go for shady. Shady uppy. And slightly shorter. This looks better than that terrible path before. Ugh. I'm not sure why at the summit of this exhausting hill there is a Fire Brigade's Union flag. That's strange. Seriously, after lunch just climbing a boiling hill up to about 450 metres is not my kind of fun. Always the way, isn't it? Perfect campsite, fire pit, accessible water, lovely place. It's 3 PM now and I want to get many more miles in. That's some scenery we haven't seen for a while. On one, It looks like, I mean, I looked at the map. I didn't look at the satellite map. I was like, following this fence, which is what we're doing. But it's a defined path. You can see the path. And also, I think there are links between the high route and the low route, like there. I'm quite happy to stay on the high route. It doesn't devolve into forestry roads again. I'm all for getting no tarmac and no stones. I hope there are some more springs, because I'm still not carrying. I'm carrying a bit more water, so I don't know. But you know, it's a hot day. Yeah, this is already way better. This does feel like proper trail walking, like you'd see in proper videos. That proper hikers do. It's a shame then they closed the earlier one, because that sounds like it would have been a lot more fun. Scenery. I can get halfway tonight at least. That would be great. Proper hills and proper pine trees to crash your camera into. You don't do drones. We keep it real here. No drones. I mean, listen and look to the wonderful quiet. Wouldn't that be spoilback? It doesn't matter how remote you think you are, there's always someone nearby. People going, oh, I only do drone shots in the most remote places. Bollocks for you. It was a very weird thing to do on the West Highland Way though, because that is such a busy trail that people are always going to be there. Yeah, no drones here. Version 2. Oh, I saw this. That sculpture, you can see it. Is this the summit of our 450 or something? The Viewcatcher. Made from Caledonian pine and local stone, the eye in the sky is designed to highlight this stunning view. Now we've caught the view, I'll head on. Ugh, ouch, my bag. Maybe have a rest actually. Scenery. This is a bit of a moonscape with no streams, so there's apparently some coming up. And I'm feeling safe because we're still following that fence. That fence is on the map. We just follow the fence and then we follow a track and then we rejoin. But the lack of water here, there's little tiny bits, little tiny pools like that. I love my PT whiskies. I've been trying loads of them on this trip. I mean, I quite like the sort of a more smoother whiskey as well, but PT sort of single malts, I have, especially the Highland malts, I have a special love for those. When I travelled up there in the islands and near Jura and got some Tobermory, there's a Smoky Scott space of Kale Ale, which I never tracked down in anywhere. No one has ever seems to have it in bars or shops. It's really odd. Maybe they only exported or something. I don't know. Kale Ale is difficult to get. The Smoky Scott is really nice. Edredor's good. Wasn't so taken by the Drigh, which is made by Tobermory. And I had some Balmore last night, and the Balmore was really nice, so that is recommended. It was Scrabble. The irony is that when it comes to cooking and drinking here, the PT water you're getting from streams, even after filtering, does not go with hot chocolate. Whereas risotto, oh, it's lovely with risotto. Mushroom risotto works really well with PT water. I was also saying how few midges there are up here because they don't like the altitude, they don't like the wind. It's up on the mountains. Perfect. You won't get any midges up there. You may get your tent blown away. You will not get any midges up there. Oh wow. Scenery. Another one of these. I don't see one of these for ages, but what are they? Animal pens? Shelters? The biggest lie was that woman saying, oh, it stays at one level. No, it doesn't. It seems to constantly go up. Then it meets a little river valley and it goes down again. Then up and down. It's not at one level. It's not like the boring Lochside is. This is constantly going up. The moral of the story, don't listen to women in shops. This is like halfway to 2/3 in. Does this look at one level to you? Bloody hell. It's nicer, but it's not easier. Amazing views though, but really, up there, I hope that's the summit. You do feel like you're on top of the world, then again you've walked up it. Scenery. Exhausting scenery. High and dry. Well, almost. That's why I'm not staying up here. Too many things like this have dried up rivers. There's no streams up here. But yeah, views. Lovely views. Whispering grass, don't tell it to the trees, 'cause the trees don't need to know. Can't afford that copyright either. Have you ever met someone who seems fine at first, but after a while your intuition says you should run away screaming? On the trail, you know nothing about the people you meet. You don't know who they really are. As I walk down this hill, shortly after filming this, Freya is going to jump out at me, scaring me, intentionally. A red flag in a growing pile of red flags that I haven't been talking about, and it's about to get weirder. Look at that view. That's the view of Loch Ness in all its glory. And they've actually put a nice little bench here. I looked to the side because Freya's actually to the left watching me record this. I think I decided to maybe edit her out of the video because things started to get so strange. And that's why I'm rather off in later bits of this video as well on screen. I didn't want to talk about it. I'm the kind of person who just runs away from when things get really weird. I met Freya on the first day of the Great Glen Way, and she was trying to use common fuel with the Trangia's stove and nearly blowing herself up, and so she latched onto me. But it was nice to hike with someone else.
I have a camera, luckily.
They even have I can't believe this, they've got a stone, I don't know if they designed it like that, that's perfect, a stone sledge to do your selfies on.
Yeah, I don't think that's very intentional.
Well, I don't know why else they would have like a little ledge there for your coffee. A bit far for your coffee. As I got to know Freya, her background story kept changing. First she had a boyfriend, then when I came out to her she had a girlfriend. It was strange because I didn't really care either way. And then in Fort Augustus, that night we went out, a couple of French guys, and she seemed to be chatting one up. She told him the story of her South African father, even though she said she was Danish, but she sounds very South African. And it was the same story as Elon Musk. And I challenged her on this, then she left the next day. No, I did enjoy today much better than those horrible roads, those horrible forestry things.
Well, I'll be on my way.
Okay.
Are you camping here?
I'm not camping here, no. There's no water up here. That's why I was thinking of going to Alltsigh. Alltsigh, which is about a mile that way. I was going to go there.
Yeah, there should be water up ahead, but I'm not sure of this road of which we speak.
I told her I was camping because previous to this discussion she said she was going to go on for a couple of miles and wasn't camping around there.
Yeah, the stream up ahead, but after that I can't see any rivers. That's why I'm a bit wary of setting off tonight.
So Freya goes off. I think, oh, I'm not going to see her again tonight. Camera Tim in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
My feet are killing me. I would like to do more. It's I think it's past 6. It's a beautiful evening, and if I've done 10 miles, that's good enough. I wanted to do 12 to 15, but with all of that uppy, downy bits today, even though, as you saw, hopefully from the footage if it's come out, it was a lot of fun, and it was more what I was expecting from the Great Glen Way. It's a shame that the other one was closed because, yeah, the whole forestry road thing was getting to me. That's the highlight of, not the trip. I would say there's other bits that have been the highlights of the whole trip, but certainly of the Great Glen Way, today has been the highlight. That and the barge, finding that sort of restaurant barge when we were really hungry. So yeah, I'd love to camp up here. It would be lovely with a bench, but no water. The water's well that way. Well that way. Yeah. And you saw how weirdly Arizona meets Scotland it was. I mean, it was so hot and so dry, but then it's kind of got pines. I suppose the pines can kind of stand in for cactuses, I suppose. But yeah, it looks quite cactusy, but yeah. You could probably, well, you couldn't shoot could be a Canadian Western. You couldn't shoot a Western up there because people would go, what are those pines doing? But kind of, maybe. We're under 20 miles from Inverness now, directly. I mean, obviously the path meanders a bit, so it'd probably be a little bit more. That's achievable in a couple of days, which is good because I have 3 days food. Because the coach is going in 5 days, so we've got basically 4 days to get there. That's plenty of time, and I don't mind hanging around Inverness for a day or two. Whether I go on, I think at this point it's very unlikely that I go on to do the John O'Groats. It was always kind of an extension goal, and I'm really proud of myself of getting this far even. You know, because the first part, the West Highland Way, was the challenge. To do something that was like a proper trail, someone described it as a technical trail. I would say it's more than a beginner trail. It's like a beginner to intermediate. I would do this trail, the Great Glen, if you are a complete beginner. Do not go to West Highland Way thinking as a beginner you can do it unless you have some hiking experience. I would not suggest that at all. You could probably do it, but it would be hard. And it would be difficult because it's not as beginnery as people make out. People say, oh, this is a beginner's thing. It's not. You know, I've done a fair few hikes now, a fair few long distance hikes, and I found it tricky in places. Not horrendously so, but I think the Great Glen Way is a good starter point. You know, maybe starting from Inverness, doing the Great Glen Way, and if you ace that and think that's brilliant, then do Fort William to Mongay. I think that would be a good way of doing it. You'll know fairly quickly from Fort William the sort of more mountainous sections which are close to the high lines of the Great Glen. You'll know quite quickly, oh, is this for me? At certain points there are train stations and things like at Cree and Larrick. So I think that might be the better way of doing it rather than the way I did it, which is Mongay which is in quotes apparently the right way. And there's no right way to do a walk. But apparently the right way is to do Mongay to Fort William to Inverness, because apparently the winds or something. But I generally find these things are a bit like, I've had the wind in my face today, so it's kind of like, yeah. My rookie advice would be go for the Great Glen Way. I think it's a really good beginner's way, and take the high lines, the high roads if you feel comfortable going more uppy, and see how you feel about those. You can always head back down if they're a bit too much. You know, you might get a little bit bored with the vlogging roads, but it's kind of a taster of whether you can do that kind of thing. If you're doing a full thing like me, I think it's much more achievable. The West Highland Way has got all those restrictions on it. So many people. which make it also a bit of a nightmare. I think in higher season it would be almost unmanageable to find a space or anywhere to camp. And the Drumnadrochit, that is, I think, from what I can gather, from what people said and what I know of the maps, the top half is for people who are pretty hardcore. It's not Cape Wrath level, it's not African Trail level, and I think we're going to join the African Trail at some point. The Drumnadrochit is not that marked, and you do need to know your way around a map, which I do, and I have the maps for it. But I'm not a fan of the bogs and the burns, so I'm thinking maybe leaving it for another time and do it in one thing afresh, and maybe doing it more in summer where it's a bit less boggy, more in the middle of summer.
It's a very cosy place to have a fire. That's the other side. Oh, there's more wind here. And there's the end of the high route. I've done 5.5 miles to Invermoriston. Drumnadrochit is 7 miles. I do hope that's not the campsite. Another sweet little covered sheltered bench. Let's check the map and see where this campsite is. It must be somewhere around here. Nice view, difficult position right by this road. Hopefully no one comes around early in the morning. And also, that is an anthill. I'm hoping they don't swarm the tent. They are the big ones as well.
Mm-hmm.
When I turned up to my campsite, I was surprised to find bold as brass Freya was camping there, very unapologetic, and it was also very strange. What wasn't great is it was on a curve of a road, and you could see large trucks had gone by. And she said, "Oh, it's fine, it's a bank holiday Monday." More about that in the next video. The rest of the night, she then blanked me as if I wasn't there. This played havoc with my neurodivergence. So, under the pretense of not liking the site, even though she argued with me, I picked my tent up whole and moved it 400 metres down the road after getting my water. Now that's a waterfall. I'm not getting my water from there. I'm going to try and get water from up here. Hopefully. It looks possible. Without dying. We can hope. And this is where I slept last night. I didn't even show the tent. It was, I just pulled it down. It's one of these very atmospheric. Yeah, my favourite forestry roads. I just want to go. It's about 7:30. I haven't had breakfast yet. I'm just going. I got to that point where I just screw this. I just want to get out of here. Which is not great, but that's how I feel. Just not be here. Just away from here. I just don't like these things. I'm not a fan of these endless roads. So future Tim, well, from the next day, will explain what happened, though not entirely. Throughout this trip, the first night picked up a friend who then wanted to go off and do their own thing, which is fine. It was awkward. We accidentally ended up at the same campsite because there wasn't any campsites in the area. There wasn't any water in the campsite, and that was a bit strange. I moved down the road because it was just a bit weird. They got the silent treatment. Obviously, they wanted to be on their own. So it's like, you know, well, they said it was fine for me to camp there, and they were like, "Oh, don't be silly." It was like, well, I was like trying to move away, but I wasn't happy with where it was, and so I moved down the road and then went off early, and I haven't seen them, so I don't know. I'll probably bump into them in Inverness or before Inverness, probably tomorrow. But it's actually nice to have an evening on my own. That's the end of the 4th part of the Great Glen Way and the 11th part of the Scotland trip in whole. We travelled a distance of 11.9 miles, a Great Glen Way 48 miles, and Scotland total of 142.6 miles. Yeah, this has been a difficult one to edit ever since I shot it. I don't know if it was just my neurodivergence or what the hell was going on. It was a strange thing to go through. On screen now is the next day in the series when it's available, otherwise it'll be the previous day. I hope you're well, look after yourselves, and I'll speak to you soon.